To me, and I can't speak for anybody else, but to me, wealth is having freedom of time. It's not how much money I have in the bank because I'm still working for it. I'm still hustling for it. If I can free up my time, that is wealth to me because now I can tell my dollar what to do. My dollar is not telling me what to do. When you leave this world, your things are still going to be sitting here. Whatever you were doing, people are going to learn and figure out how to do it without you. No one absolutely can take away from me my ability to think. If you can work yourself out of a job, you are an awesome, awesome leader. If I can see people go further than me, I'm an awesome leader. I love pouring into people and I love being able to pull out of people what they can't see in themselves for them to be able to just win. I don't care what they're doing.
Six years ago, my wife took nothing but an ideal and faith and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business with multiple streams of income. As a woman possessed, she overcame all obstacles and created multiple streams of wealth that has impacted our family for generations to come. From mental health professional to therapist to author to CEO, she is a constant reminder of the grace of God over her life. Get ready to listen to and take notes from Stenell, the money therapist, as she schools you on money, entrepreneurship, and life skills that was not taught. No more excuses. Wake up!
Thank you for that introduction, husband. Welcome back to No More Excuses, Wake Up, where we talk about money, entrepreneurship, and life skills that was not taught. I am your host, Stenell Myers, also known as Stenell, the money therapist. This week, we are discussing money with guest, my friend, Tamika Wyche Esquire. Tamika is a bankruptcy attorney in Camden, New Jersey. Whoop, whoop, Camden, CMD. Tamika and Wyche Esquire started in the family business in 1997 as a legal secretary and worked under the tutelage of her grandfather, David Paul Daniels Esquire, until he passed on January 12, 2017. Law offices of David Paul Daniels has been family owned and operated since 1979. Tamika has been a lifelong resident of South Jersey, a graduate of Highland High School. She went on to earn a Bachelor's of Science in Business at Rutgers University in Camden, New Jersey in 2000, a law degree from Widener University in Wilmington, Delaware in 2005, and a Master of Law in Trial Advocacy from Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 2012. After graduation, Tamika went from serving the clients of the law office of David Paul Daniels behind the desk straight into the courtroom. Since being in practice, Tamika has handled a wide variety of bankruptcy, personal injury, real estate, and family matters. She is licensed to practice in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania and has also been admitted to the bar of the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey, the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, and the United States Supreme Court. Tamika is an active member of the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys and was also acknowledged by South Jersey Legal Services in 2019 for the pro bono services she provided to residents of Southern New Jersey. Hi, Tamika. How you doing?
Hey, I'm excited to be here.
Girl, you know I am excited to see you.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
Of course, you are smart, you're professional, you are a bankruptcy attorney, and I need you to drop the knowledge.
Absolutely. I sure will. As much as I have, right?
Yes. For those that don't know, Tamika and I, we actually go to the same church. We met at church. Tamika and my husband are spades partners.
Yes. The best.
Oh my gosh, the best. Them two together is crazy. I just sit there like, oh my goodness. But they are definitely envied from people because they make things worse than what it is.
We do. We rub it in bad.
So if y'all know how Tony is, this one is like the same. 100% the same. When I met Tamika, we had so much in common. I just want you to just share with people exactly what you do, how you got started. Your story is so amazing. And let's take it from there.
My name is Tamika Wyche Greenidge to some. I am a bankruptcy attorney. I have been an attorney since 2005. I started out working with my grandfather, David Paul Daniels. He founded the law offices of David Paul Daniels in 1980, where we primarily practice personal injury and bankruptcy, but bankruptcy is the main crux of the practice. Like I said, he founded the office in 1980. In 2005, I started practicing law, and he just kind of threw me in the courtroom from there like a fish out of water. But I gained my legs and been walking and running ever since. My grandfather passed in 2017, so I was blessed and fortunate enough to be able to practice with him from 2005 to 2017. Wow. And then from then on, God's blessed me to continue on with the practice. We are still rocking and rolling, helping people save their homes, helping people not get evicted, helping people save their cars, get from up under debt, and just helping people just win financially in life.
I like that. Helping people win financially in life. Yes, I like that. Yeah. And I always say, I knew who your grandfather was. I just wanted to plug that in. And I admired, because he was my attorney for when I was in a car accident. And it just so happened he was also my small world, my son's father, mother, landlord.
Wow.
And I seen him in action. We didn't even know each other. I seen him in action, literally. You didn't pay your rent. I need my money. He came to the house and he said, always dressed in suits, tie. Yes. I remember, I need my money. I said, oh. And then when we met decades later and you said who he was, I was like, wait a minute.
And that sounds exactly like him, his tailored suits, but about business, for real, for real.
He didn't care who was in the living room.
No, not at all.
He didn't raise his voice, but he was very clear and he was very stern. Yeah. And I said, oh, she better get that rent. That's what I was thinking. When you walk into somebody's house, well, it's his home, but when you walk in to collect your rent, there's a problem.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because rent is supposed to come to you. Absolutely.
Love it. That's right. I love it. When you say help people save their homes, save their cars, can you really let people know exactly what bankruptcy is? Because I think a lot of people do not understand, such as myself. You really enlightened me about bankruptcy, and that it's not bad to get a bankruptcy.
Right. Bankruptcy in a nutshell is pretty much a way to help someone get a fresh start and get back on their feet. Most times people try to handle their debt by themselves. And the thing is, if you haven't done anything to help yourself within 6 months, then you absolutely need to go see some type of financial advisor or attorney regarding your finances, because you weren't able to move anything in 6 months. Bankruptcy in and of itself is just a way to help people get a fresh start, whether it be through a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13, and to get back on their feet. Chapter 7 is the shortest amount of time you're in bankruptcy. You're in bankruptcy for approximately 3.5 months, maybe pushing 4, because of COVID has slowed down some timelines. Chapter 7 is designed to help you get rid of unsecured debt and even some secured debt if you're just willing to walk away from something. Chapter 13, on the other hand, is designed to help people if you've fallen behind in your mortgage, your rent, your car payments, any kind of secured debt. IRS, that's not a secured debt, but that's considered priority in a bankruptcy. IRS, the state of New Jersey, you can help just get current with those debts that are on your back that you're just trying to get current.
For the Chapter 13, when you mention IRS, you can't get rid of the IRS, can you?
It all depends. You can do a whole lot of stuff with bankruptcy that people don't know you can do with bankruptcy. Most times, anything that has become due and owing in the last 3 years, when it comes to the state or IRS, you cannot get rid of. But most times, anything older than that, you can get rid of. There are certain stipulations if you did not file your taxes timely and can't get rid of those older years. But most time you can get rid of those older years and just be responsible for the last 3 years that have become due and owing.
You mentioned if you didn't file your taxes, what would be another one that you would be able to get rid of if it was later in the years?
If for some reason the IRS or the state has done some type of an audit, off the top of my head, I can't remember how many days exactly it is, but it's like 240 days or something like that. If they've done an audit within the last 240 days and they've updated that file, then you can't get rid of it if it's an older debt.
Okay. Tony filed a Chapter 7, and I did not want to file with him because I was not educated on bankruptcy. So I was like, no, I'm not going to be a part of that. And then I wish I was, because what I do, I paid when I didn't have to, I paid out of my pocket.
Yeah.
He got rid of his car. I remember when they came and took the car, but the house was not touched. So can you give us some information so people can really know? Because some people are scared. They think they're going to lose everything.
So no, you definitely don't lose everything. When you file bankruptcy, the court allows you to have a specific amount of exemptions to protect the equity that you have in certain assets. For example, if you filed a bankruptcy today, your house is worth $120,000 and you only owe $100 on the mortgage. The court allows you to protect that $20,000 worth of equity that you have in your house so that you can keep your house and still file a Chapter 7 to get rid of the unsecured debt, the credit cards, the medical bills, the old utility bills, the collections, and everything else that's on your back that you're trying to get rid of.
That was great because it was a lot of money that and you know what, when you marry, everything comes together. So I believe his was $35,000, just him alone. And then it was me, and I was like, I don't want to be no part of that because I didn't know what I know now. Knowing now, it really enlightened me like, dang, I wish I would have done this. But a lot of people, and especially in the African American community, do not file bankruptcy.
Yeah, because there's a stigma to it. But I had to tell a lady the other day, and I could tell she was an African American. I was speaking to her over the phone. She was like, well, I really don't want to file. And I was like, look, if your credit is already crappy, a bankruptcy is not going to make it even worse, right? You're either going to deal with the crappy credit and keep trying to pay it. You've been trying to pay it for years now and it hasn't gone anywhere. Or you can just file a bankruptcy and get rid of it. You'll be done in 90 days and you'll have a fresh start. And now all that stress that you had previously, it's gone.
It's gone.
Because you're not trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. You're not worried about anybody garnishing your wages anymore. You're not worried about any more creditors levying your bank accounts. That's no longer a worry.
Been through that. And how did she respond?
She was a little offended at first, but I don't know how to sugarcoat anything. I just shoot straight and say it like it is. She was receptive. She understood where I was coming from. And she's like, I can't believe you just said my credit was crappy. Well, you're calling me because you need to file a bankruptcy for a lot of unsecured debt. So that means those creditors are reporting to your credit report, which is making your credit score go further and further down. And then on top of that, you just told me your score was like a 490, 500.
The emotions came from the fact that you called it crappy, not the fact that she called you to get help.
Right. Exactly. So of course she'll be coming to see me this week.
That's good. But that's good. That's good because you're helping people. You said something I really wanted to touch on. And you said something about her. Okay, I remember. How long does it take? It takes 90 days for the process. But after the process, how long do it take to be able to start to apply for credit again with their fresh start?
If you file a Chapter 7, once you get your discharge just means you successfully completed the bankruptcy. Once you get your discharge, immediately you'll start getting offers for credit cards. In roughly 3 to 4 months, I've seen my clients be able to purchase a brand new car. The interest rate may be a little higher than what they're used to, but they're able to purchase a new car. In 2 years, they're able to purchase a new home. Chapter 13 is different because you're paying back your creditors, depending on what type of plan you have. While you're in an active 13, I've had clients be able to purchase new cars and purchase new homes. It all depends on the specific person's situation. You're able to do it if you're in an active 13 and making those payments for 3 to 5 years. Once you get your discharge from out of a 7, you'll be able to start moving and shaking immediately.
Do people make the decision to be in a Chapter 7 or 13, or you as the professional attorney decide what is the best fit for them?
I usually tell them what is the best fit for them is. If all they have is a lot of unsecured debt, where they're just trying to get rid of some credit cards, medical bills, collections, things like that, the optimal route is to go Chapter 7. But sometimes people don't fit into a Chapter 7 because of excess equity that they may have in certain assets that the court says you file a Chapter 7 and you have the example we talked about before. Say you had $50,000 equity in your house and the court only allows you to have 20. If you file a Chapter 7, a trustee is going to take your home, try to sell it so that that excess equity that the court says is over and above what they allow you to have can be paid to creditors. That instance, I would have someone file a Chapter 13 so that they don't lose their home.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it all depends on each person's specific situation. Each case is always tailored to the individual, but the optimal route would be to file a Chapter 7, get in and out, and start fresh.
Okay. When people come to see you, can you tell me what you start them off with? Do you have a spreadsheet? Do you send them a spreadsheet? How do you actually start working with them?
Prior to coming to see me, I will usually email them a list of documents for them to bring with them. They'll bring me copies of deeds to all real estate they have in their name, the last 6 months pay stub, last 2 years tax returns. They have to take credit counseling. They'll bring me everything that pertains to them on that list. I send everybody the same list. So if it pertains to them, they'll bring it to me. If not, they don't worry about it. Then once they're sitting in front of me, we go through those documents, and it's basically your income and your assets that determine what type of bankruptcy you're allowed to file. So we focus mainly on those documents first to try to determine what type of bankruptcy they're able to file and then move forward from there.
If you have a person that comes to you, because as you know, I help people with their finances. I try to keep them to still live, pay debt, and invest all at the same time. Do you find, and I'm sure you do, people that come to you and they just, maybe you have to teach them, they don't know how to budget. So are you teaching people how to budget, or are you, and I say this because people start with a clean slate and then if their mindset is not changed, they get back in the debt again.
That's right.
What type of information do you give them so they do not continue doing the same thing?
Everybody that walks into my office, not everybody needs a bankruptcy. Some people just need to learn how to budget. If you walk into my office, you have about $10,000 worth of debt and you have enough money to pay it, and you just don't know how to budget to pay it. I'm not going to file you a bankruptcy. There are some attorneys that will, but I'm not going to file you a bankruptcy. I'm going to tell you, we're going to sit down, we're going to do a budget, and I'm going to tell you, tighten up here, get rid of this, because you're going to bring me all the same information. I'm going to look at your 6 months bank statements. I'm going to see what's coming out of your bank account every month. Get rid of this, tighten up here, go pay these bills. This is how you're going to pay them. And I send them on their way. For the people who do need to file a bankruptcy, in the process of filing a bankruptcy, we do a budget. We go through their expenses and we go through their income. Petition is filed. I have to file a budget with the court. Schedule I lists your income. Schedule J lists all of your expenses. That is filed with the court when the bankruptcy petition is. So yes, we actively go through a budget.
I don't remember us going through a budget. I like that. You actively go through a budget. I like the fact that you bring people in and you tell them, if you have the money, we don't need to proceed. You show them and you teach them.
Right. It just does not make sense. Now, I did have one young lady been learning this year how to actively trade in the stock market.
Me too.
So I know how much money can be pulled out of the market, right? It's a group that I'm in on Facebook, and the girl, I don't know how this young woman found me, lives in Missouri. She inboxed me, said, could you please give me a call? I see you're a bankruptcy attorney. I need some information. Now,
wow.
This young lady, she said she was living paycheck to paycheck. I'm living with her family, still trying to invest in the stock market, trading options. She said she had a little bit of money, but not a lot. It was about to start going to school. She was getting a higher education degree. I don't know if it was, I forget if it was a master's or a law degree or, a higher education degree. She said, I just want to know, should I file bankruptcy? Normally I'd say, well, bring me in your income, give me all of this stuff, let me evaluate it. But for me, because I knew she was trying to invest in the market, and I know the type of money that can be pulled out of the market, I said, absolutely. I said, you just started investing. I said, before this year is out, you'll have more money in an account than the court would allow you to have. I said, and on top of that, the money that you do have to pay to your creditors, she had about $12,000 in the bank, but that money was protected.
Okay.
It was exempt because the exemptions the court allows you to have protected that money. I said, file you a bankruptcy, pay the $1,000 you're going to pay to that attorney, and take that $12,000 you was going to pay to them creditors, invest it in the stock market, wait until after you get your discharge, invest it in the market, and triple times your money.
Right. Okay.
It was just a no-brainer.
It was a no-brainer. Yeah, it was a no-brainer. That was actually smart. It's good to come to you because everybody's situation, you don't have it's not a cookie cutter. It's not a copy and paste.
Right.
Everybody's situation is different. And depending on what their situation is the advice that you give them. That was a no-brainer.
It was absolutely a no-brainer.
And how did she receive that?
Oh, she said she was going to file. She said, I'm going to call the attorney back. Well, first she asked me if I could help her, but I told her I wasn't able to because I'm not licensed in that state. I'm only licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So I said, you do have to file a bankruptcy attorney out in that area. I said, but if you have any questions regarding what that attorney is telling you, because bankruptcy is federal law, pretty much everything is cookie cutter when it comes to the law, right, except for when you have those special state exceptions.
Okay.
But petition in itself, most of the information goes, you can take it anywhere. She said she was calling the attorney back that she talked to, and she was going to make an appointment to file.
Wow, that's good. For a consultation, she consulted with you because she lives in Missouri. Did you charge her for a consultation? Do you charge for someone to speak with you?
I do. I give everyone a free 15-minute consultation.
Really?
I do.
Wow.
I do.
That must be the God in you. Because I've never heard that from an attorney. So you get 15 minutes. Do you ever go over?
Most times I do.
Mm-hmm.
Most times I do. Most times it usually turns into probably almost pushing 30 minutes because people are so hesitant and they have so many questions to make a choice. You can't call me back 2 and 3 more times because I'm done answering your questions. Okay. Because I know I've given you enough of a foundation to make a choice.
Okay. I like that. And do they know that coming in?
I do let people know. I give a free 15-minute consultation.
Okay. What would you say to an individual, a male or female, that is struggling financially, can't really see their way out? They have a lot of debt, including, let's say, a couple credit cards, maybe car notes, and they have a house. What would you just tell that individual that come to you?
My first question would be, how long have you been struggling like this, right? Because if the struggle came because of the pandemic, that's a different type of struggle, right? Because everybody's in a different situation. Mm-hmm. But if this was happening prior to COVID, I need to know, what were you doing? What are your habits? And first, are you current with your car? Are you current with your mortgage? Because in New Jersey, we know you have to have a car. Mm-hmm. Living where we live.
Yes.
And you gotta have a roof over your head.
You have to have both. That's right.
Right. Is it enough money coming into the household just to sustain the necessities? If there's not enough money coming into the household to sustain the necessities, we need to have a real conversation, because bankruptcy is not going to help you, because you're going to wind up right back in the same situation that you are now. If the income is not there, we need to have a real talk.
Yes. And we talked about this before.
With helping you.
Yes. Yeah. And we talked about this before. Yes. The income has to be there. And that's why I talk to people. Well, we need another paycheck. We need something coming in. I don't always suggest people, well, go to school, get a higher education. No, go and find
a side hustle.
Yes. You can. Now with COVID, there's so many job opportunities. You can literally sit in your house. The person that retightened my locks, she literally sits in her home and she answers calls. They have a lot of COVID specialists, people that had COVID And they have people that even through CVS, they call them, they ask them questions in their home.
Yep.
They don't even have to leave. So COVID, even though it was so bad and it has destroyed, so many people have passed, it has opened up a window for
Oh
so
my
many
God.
other people, especially people in businesses. It has opened up a window. It really, 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 really has opened up a window.
And right now, people will buy anything. People will buy anything. What are your gifts? What are your talents? What can you supply to people that they need? What need can you fill? Make a business out of it.
Tamika, please, can we talk about that for 2 minutes? Make a business out of the gift that God has given you, because now I don't know what is going on with the pandemic, but I see people starting businesses, but definitely this is the time. This is the time.
Let me tell you something. My 10-year-old, for her birthday, I said, we're not buying things, because she gets all throughout the year, right? So you don't need more things. What do you want to do? What do you want to do for your birthday? She said, I want to start a business. I said, okay, what type of business do you want to start?
What?
I want to make body butters. She's been making body butters and selling them.
What? 10 years old?
10 years old. Mind you, she just selling them to family members and friends and stuff like that, but they're really nice. I said, okay, we really got to start getting it into, a groove with this, because I'm going to set you up a little Etsy shop online.
Tell her, mommy.
And let you start selling them.
See, now that comes from an entrepreneur right there. I'm getting ready to set you up with an Etsy shop. Tell her, mommy. She got her labels.
She got, girl, I ordered the label. I did. I ordered the labels and everything, because at the end of the day, to me, and I can't speak for anybody else, but to me, wealth is having freedom of time. It's not how much money I have in the bank.
Say it.
Because I'm still working for it. I'm still hustling for it. If I can free up my time, that is wealth to me. Because now I can tell my dollar what to do. My dollar is not telling me what to do. So if I can teach her that at 10 years old, she's not gonna have no problem.
None at all. I'm sitting here trying to, I'm inhaling, because you preaching. She's not going to have any problems. And say that again. You said you tell your dollar what to do.
I tell my dollar what to do.
Your dollar don't tell you what to do.
No.
Can you break that down for me? When the dollar tell people what to do.
Your dollar tells you what to do when you have to clock in at a specific time, when you have to clock out at a specific time, when you have a certain amount of days you can take off throughout the year, when you're not allowed to take off for certain things like emergencies, your dollar is telling you what to do. But when you tell your dollar what to do, like at my office, I tell my dollar what to do. I didn't go in today. I didn't feel like it. I had a dentist appointment this morning. I could have went in this afternoon. I didn't feel like it. Me and my husband went out to lunch, came home, picked up my daughter. He took her to gymnastics while I'm sitting here with you.
Okay, so you didn't feel like it today?
No.
You know what? And I want people, I want people to get this. Everybody is not an entrepreneur, right? They're just not. I remember talking to a young lady, and I said this before. I said this when I was in my 20s. I used to work at Independence Blue Cross on the corner, I believe, of 10th Street in Philadelphia. And I used to be a claims examiner for the hospitals and medical, Medicaid, and all of that. Before we were working from home, I had a yellow pad, and I know I still have it. I was literally writing down, how could I help save a company money so I can stay home and work and build my business of helping companies make money? And I remember just having a pad, and I remember her saying, what you doing? And I said, oh, I'm just writing down. I don't know if I was looking to the future. I don't know what God was doing in me. And I remember her saying, I don't want that. And she clearly said, I don't want to work for myself. She said, because to me, it'll be hard. I want to go in. I want to do my hours. I don't want to bring work home. I want to come out of work. And that's what I want. And you know what? It's not for everybody. I truly believe entrepreneurship is something really gifted from God. I think it's like something he touch you with. I truly believe that, because she really did not want to do it. And when I talk to people, I say it to them, I don't want people to think that, okay, entrepreneurship is just it, because it's not for everybody.
No,
but to
it's
me,
very hard.
It's hard,
extremely difficult.
But you know what? I didn't go in the day too. You know why? Because I didn't want to, like when you said, I was like, oh my gosh, how I'm gonna say this. Like I could barely lift my arm because I did more. I'm trying to work out my arms and my back. So I overdid it. Literally, I overdid it. And I just came back from Florida. I was just really exhausted. But the choice was, and that's a blessing. I believe that's a blessing because I didn't have to call and ask.
Right.
I just made that decision and didn't go.
Right. Right.
But the money didn't stop. Right.
Exactly. But here's the thing too, though. Even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, because you're right, that's not for everybody. How can you make your dollar work for you? I've come to the conclusion that I absolutely love what I do. And my goal is to get to a point where people come in and I'm just able to help. I don't care if you have the money to pay me or not. I'm just able to be the help. Now my mindset is, okay, how am I able to be that help that I want to be? Mind you, my business has not marketed in over 12 years. Everything's by word of mouth. Wow. It's literally just God sending the people in to sustain the business. Since COVID, it's been extremely slow, but I know attorneys that have had to close their offices and my business is still being sustained. When I tell people, they're just like, how?
Really?
When I tell you, Stenell,
I was going to ask you that. How did COVID affect bankruptcy of people not? I mean, you would think COVID that people need more help.
No. Why would people need more help when the government's giving them all that money?
That's true. That's true. But it depends, and I know this for sure, what people are doing with that money, because some people getting that money and it's not really applying.
Okay.
What is supposed to go to.
Let's rewind this, right? Government's giving them all types of money. There are no evictions.
Yeah.
There are no foreclosures.
Yeah.
The utility companies can't shut you off.
Yeah.
What am I worried about? I'll worry about that stuff later because I'm already mismanaging my funds. And then on top of that, I'm just going to pull a number out the air. I'm only making $10 an hour. That's $400 a week, $1,600 a month. Coming home, bringing home $1,200, $1,300. In the beginning, I was getting $600 just from the federal. $2,400. I'm bringing home twice.
Yep.
Now I'm getting $300.
Now that's just $600, not including
not including the unemployment.
Right.
Not including the unemployment. Now I'm getting the $300. I'm bringing home exactly what my paycheck would have brought home. Plus I'm still getting the unemployment. No, I have no reason to worry about anything.
That's true.
I'll worry about it when the walls fall.
Right. That's
right.
But you are so real, girl. You too real. We all know the walls are going to fall, right?
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
here, this is the conversation I was telling Tony the other day. This is what put different people in different pockets because, and I'm not saying that different people, such as entrepreneurs, prey on it, but they're wise to it. So when a wall start to fall, then you have the entrepreneurs that were watching and listening and saving their money. Now they have an opportunity to go in and purchase homes.
Absolutely.
Because the walls are going to fall. And what you're trying to do, you're trying to help people and save them from the wall from falling, because you do have these different groups of people. And it's you and I in these different groups that have the opportunities to not only save them, but we also have the opportunities to build. For instance, I'll give a quick example. When people are not paying their mortgage and they're actually going on a forbearance, and they go on that forbearance, and that forbearance is about a year forbearance. After that year is up, right?
That money's due. Money's due every dime.
They have to pay the money. And then the foreclosure process, because I'm kind of foreseeing in the future, start. And then that's what actually the people that were in a different pocket that were saving and listening and taking notes and just trying to learn. Now they're going after those that lost their home because they wasn't putting up the money.
Exactly. I just had that conversation a week ago with a client. She wanted to get out of her Chapter 7. She was in a 13, but she wanted to come buy a house while she was in the 13, which I told her, I said, absolutely fine. You can buy a house while you're in the 13. I said, but it doesn't make sense for you to buy a house right now. I said, you're paying well over the market value. I said, why don't you just convert your case to a 7, get rid of all that unsecured debt, and then in 2 years, you could buy you a house. By that time, you won't have a ton of houses to pick from. Today, a house don't sit on the market more than a day.
Sure don't. I sure snatched up one in the first day. It don't. That's right.
They don't sit on the market long enough.
That's
so
right.
You're going after homes that people are bidding $50,000 and $20,000 over the market price. Do you know how many real estate contracts I reviewed in the last 6 months?
Wow.
And people have just paid over the asking price because they just had to have the house. They had to be out of their apartment and they didn't care. It just did not make sense to me. And I would ask them, like, are you sure you want to buy this house?
Yeah. And what you think that's going to look like in a couple of years? Yeah. And like you said, in about 2 years, those that paid over, they're going to be, their homes are going to be underwater, like a lot of people's homes are now because of what happened back in 2008. And a lot of people are going to be stuck in foreclosure. Now, mind you, because of all of the people who need assistance with mortgage, you're going to have those foreclosures backed up a year. Goodness, a couple of years ago, I had foreclosures were backed up in the courts for over a year. So you could just sit in your house and just stack, which is what I would tell some of my clients. Why would you move out of the house when everything in the house is still working and you just can't afford it? Sit in that house, file you a Chapter 7, surrender the house through the 7, sit in that house and stack until they sell that house at sheriff sale. Let them evict you and just make sure you have a place to go. And stack your money. You went through this in 2008, right? As an attorney? Yeah. So you already know. So in 2008, it was because of the loans that were given that people should not have received the loans. But I believe it's going to kind of mimic itself. I
think so too, unless the government just bails out each and every homeowner. And if the government gives the banks the money again, like they did in 2008, you're going to have an issue because now the banks pick and choose who they want to extend help to and who they don't want to. Yeah. However, if the individual homeowner applies for the money and then the government pays it to the banks, that's a different story because it's a level playing field. Right. But if the banks have anything to do about it,
right,
you can be looking at the same situation.
Right. That's how it was in the beginning with the PPP. And it's also how it was with the EIDL that through the SBA. It was the same thing. Everybody couldn't get it because people that they knew were getting it. Yes. Same exact thing. Same exact situation. You are so smart. I asked you, what are 3 things you want people to know about you? You said, I love God. I am passionate about leaving a legacy and building wealth for my family. And I love seeing others win and prosper.
Yes, absolutely love God, because when you walk in his will, it's just like everything just comes together. It just effortlessly. Doesn't mean you're not going to have some hard times and have some troubles, because you do have to persevere through some things. But when you look back, it's going to just look like a cakewalk because he's just been leading and guiding. And to me, like, he's just so good. He doesn't do anything for kicks and giggles. Right? He don't want to see us fail and be like, oh, that just made me laugh. Let me help her out this time. No, he's so very intentional about the things he does and the things he allows us to go through. Everything, his word says, everything works together for our good. He's just so good. How can you not love him? He's just so good. Even his nose are delicious, right? Even his nose
are good. I've heard that his nose is delicious because he just saved you from something.
Exactly.
Wow. Yes.
Exactly. What was the second one? Tell me again.
Wait, I never even heard you preaching. I never even heard you in this type of form. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, he's just so good. Like I told you, there's so many attorneys that had to close their practices.
Wow.
And I haven't had to.
That's a blessing, Tamika. I'm so glad you didn't have to.
And I don't have to be sitting in my office. I did have to make some changes. Yes. So I had a full-time secretary and a part-time secretary. The part-time was working 3 days. I had to take her down to 2 days. That's the major change I had to make.
That was it?
In my practice. That was it. Somebody's still answering the phones to where I don't have to be there to answer the phones. What more can I ask for? He's still sustaining me.
Right.
He's still sustaining me.
That's
and I'm not worried. I'm not anxious.
That's
Because it's
right.
like, all right, you know what though? I'm to the point where I just trust him so much. Okay, God, if all the business dried up, I know you got something else for me. So I'm not worried about it.
So you put your
I'm
faith
not
in
worried
him.
about it.
Wow. So you have 100% faith in God.
I absolutely do. I have
Wow.
to. I've
Wow.
been through too much not to trust him now.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he brought me through too much not to trust him now. That is where he placed me. Because honestly, I never wanted to go to law school. I went to law school because I knew I'd have a job when I got out because my grandfather was an attorney. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't place myself in that position. God placed me there. So it's like,
Yes.
okay, God, if you're ready to move me, where are we going? What we gonna
Wow.
do? You
Wow.
know,
You ready?
you rocking, I'm rolling.
You right.
Where we going?
You trust him that much
I
that no
do.
matter what happens, you know he got your back and you know he
I
will open
do.
up another door.
I do. Because
That's
my faith
profound.
isn't in things. If I had to get rid of this house that I'm sitting in tomorrow, all right, God, where you want me to move to? I move back to my parents for a little bit. All right, it's not the end of the world. It's just
Oh,
things.
I
It's
like
just
that.
things. When you leave this world, your things are still going to be sitting here. And whatever you were doing, people are going to learn and figure out how to do it without you.
That's
So what
right.
impact did you make while you were here?
That's
What
right.
impact? What are people going to say about you when you laying
That's
in that
right.
box or wherever you are?
Right.
What are people going to say about you?
Right. And that's what matters. I like that. That's a good takeaway. What are people going to say about you when you're gone, when you're not here anymore? I
Yeah,
like that. You said, I'm
yeah.
passionate about leaving a legacy and building wealth for my family.
I am.
I know
I
you
am.
are.
And I want other people to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, when that young girl called me, was like, I don't know if I should file. Sweetheart, file, get rid of that little bit of debt you have and invest that money in the market. And even for people who aren't
That was
entrepreneurs, if you're
smart.
not an entrepreneur, if you don't have an entrepreneur mindset, there is somewhere that you can invest your money to make your money work for you. You don't have to run a business. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. And that's what I was thinking. I said, okay, if for some
It's so
reason my
true.
office had to close tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
what is something that no one absolutely can take away from me? My
Mm-hmm.
intelligence, my
Mm-hmm.
brain,
Nope.
my ability to think. So
Mm-hmm.
guess what? I'm gonna learn the market. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna teach my kids the market too. Once
Mm-hmm.
I get it under my belt, I already started with them, just teaching them about stocks, but I'm going to teach them how to actively trade once I learn it really well too, because your mind is something that no one can ever take
No
from
one
you.
can take it away. And I think that's something that was happening. I think maybe 2 years before the pandemic, and maybe now it's just more people are really investing. I'm in this group, it's called EYDL on Facebook. It's this group and they talk about investing every Monday. But my girlfriend, I'm gonna be honest, I have cash coin, or I invest in, it's on my phone. My girlfriend to text me, she tells me exactly what to buy. She told me how much to buy, and she said, do it now. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I listen to her, because I didn't listen to her last year when I had her at the house for a barbecue. She said, invest in this right away. I'm cooking for people. Don't you know she made $5,000 in that one transaction? But I'm going to
I
stop.
believe it.
What I can't stop. I didn't even start yet. It took me like 2 months to get started. She kept calling me. And so I listened to her because I trust her. So she started in 1 year, her investments was $6,000 total, plugging in, it added to six.
Mm-hmm.
The next following year, she showed me $22,000.
I believe it. I had an investment that I had earned 750% on that investment. It was a couple $100, and I should have invested more, but I was still learning. 750% return on it. It's just
Wow.
nuts. If you can really learn how to read those charts, and that's what I've been doing. I've been investing in myself by
Mm.
paying for courses that teach me how to read the charts. Because if
Professional
you learn how to
development.
read those charts,
Mm-hmm.
it's limitless. I don't care
Mm.
what this other person does. I have my thesis and I'm sticking to it because I know how to read the chart. And what you invest in, I may not be interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in it, I'm not going to continue to watch it like you're watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
my
like
money,
that.
I may go from here one day and from here to here the next, because I'm not really paying attention to it. I'm just waiting for you to
Mm-hmm.
tell me what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm waiting for my girlfriend to tell me what to do, and I might be losing money right here as you speak. But see, I got backup plans. always be an entrepreneur and make money while you sleep. So that's my backup plan.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Make
Put
money.
some money
You
in the
have to make it in
market.
some type of
You do. You do.
some
You
type of
do. And that's
format.
why not everyone needs to be an entrepreneur.
No.
Not everybody needs to.
No.
If you know how to use your mind,
That's it.
because some people are happy working at 9 to 5.
And that's
some
fine.
people love it.
Well, 9 to 5 give you pensions. It's it do, and it's fine. It is fine. There's no problem in that at all. At all. But for me, and I always say, I didn't want nobody telling me what to do. I had to be honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have worked for 25 years for other people. And my thing was, I didn't want nobody telling me what to do, because when it came down to helping people in my field of helping people with mental health, I always tried to save the person to where you have a supervisor having you, I work for diapers, removing kids. It was times that my kids didn't see me. This one time my kids didn't see me Christmas Eve, because my goal was to get these 2 kids back to their mom that I truly don't believe that they should have been taken away, but I was told to do so. And I felt so bad. So my kids, to make me even feel better, my kids did not see me Christmas Eve, and they remember that. But I wanted to make sure that they spent Christmas with their mom, because I did not believe of removing those kids. I didn't believe in it. It made me say, God gave me a gift. Let me use what God gave me, because I'm going to be honest, and I'm not going to try to hurt nobody because I'm told to do so, or politically you're supposed to do it this way. No. So that's why I always say, know your why when it comes to what you're about to do. Know why are you doing it? And that's my why. You said, I love seeing others win. So that's a part of you love seeing others win and prosper?
I do. I believe that the greatest leader is one that can work themselves out of a job. If you can work yourself out of a job, you are an awesome, awesome leader, because there are so many people that don't want to see you go further than them. If I can see people go further than me, I think I'm an awesome leader. I love pouring into people, and I love being able to pull out of people what they can't see in themselves for them to be able to just win. I don't care what they're doing. If you're making $1 million and I'm still able to help you, I'm happy. I'm not looking for anything. It's just a gift that's within me. I'm just a natural born giver. If I help pull out of you what I see in you that you may not see in yourself, and give you that confidence to do it, absolutely. I do it hands down.
I love that. I love the way you put it. I'm just like that, but I never said it that way. I love that. Yeah, it makes you feel great because you're able to see and pull out what people don't see within themselves. I love it.
Absolutely. It takes me back to me and my grandfather. He worked himself out of a job, right? He was able to come in towards the latter end of his life. He would walk into the office, sit at his desk, read his paper, pay a couple of bills on PNC Bank on bill pay, be at the office for maybe an hour, 45 minutes, just because he can. And he can sit at his desk and do what he wants to do, however he wants to do it, when he wants to do it, and then leave the office and say, okay, I'm done for the day. He wasn't jealous. He was able to trust me because he knew everything was paid. We never got no shut off notices or anything like that. He wasn't always checking what was in the bank account, because he knew he groomed me in such a way.
Wow.
That,
look at that legacy right there.
He was able to work himself out of a job and still have his job.
Ooh,
to where he came and worked and did whatever he wanted to do when he wanted to do it.
He was able to work himself out of a job and still have a job.
Mm-hmm. He would come work on whatever files he felt like working on when he felt like working on them. And then when he was done, he'd put them back on my desk. I'd finish it up, and he'd go on about his business.
How did he work himself? I know, but how did he work himself out of the job? Educate the listeners.
Because he poured everything that was in him into me. He didn't withhold any information. He wasn't selfish with any information. He wasn't secretive with any information or with any clients. Whatever he knew, I knew.
I love it. I got it. Right there. That's some real talk. That's leader. So he poured into you. That's straight leadership. Yeah. That is leadership. That
at
is
its finest.
At its finest. But you know what, Tamika, let me say this. You have a lot of credit behind that, because if you was not willing to be a vessel that he could pour into and listening, there's so many times that when you try to pour into someone, they just not that they're not that vessel to pour into because they're not ready or they didn't want it. My cousin and my godfather poured into me when it came to real estate. Everything that I know about real estate that's in a book, I got that one-on-one when I was on Canal Street in New York hustling, getting pocketbooks for the people when I was working at Independence Blue Cross. And I'd be like, what you want? I'll write down my list. That all came from my godfather. And that hustle mentality, however, it didn't stick with certain people that he was pouring it into because they didn't want to listen. So you listened. And that's what's so profound, because you listened from your grandfather. That's amazing. That's amazing. We all have words of affirmation that empowers us. What words of affirmation would you like to share with the listeners? You said God is always good, no matter what the situation. His no's are even laced with goodness.
They are. And we talked about that. Like, because God, like I said, just to reiterate, God is so very intentional. God doesn't waste his time like we waste our time. He is so very intentional about what he does. A no is still a yes. It may be a no to that specific thing, but there's still a yes behind it. You just got to find out. You have to be patient enough to know what that yes is, but he's just so, he's just good. He's just so good like that.
He's so good. He is so good, girl. He is good. You've been great. Thank you so much for the knowledge, the wisdom, the godly wisdom, the financial wisdom. You just kick wisdom in all aspects. And that is so needed on this platform, because we talk about money, entrepreneurship, and life skills that was not taught. You just kick that information because a lot of people did not know about the information about bankruptcy. So I just want to say thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you.
You are so welcome. And can you tell people how they can reach out to you?
We're on social media, David Daniels Law, on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not a huge social media person, but if someone inboxes me, I do respond. Our law office is located in Camden, New Jersey on 2985 Yorkshire Square. We are there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and our phone number is 856-338-0411. I am on Instagram. My handle is Tamika Lawyer Girl Investor. You can catch me there too.
Okay. And when you said Camden, hey, I walk the streets. That is where I was raised and born and raised. But your grandfather used to be on Federal.
We used to be on Federal Street.
Remember.
We moved last year to Yorkshire Square.
Oh, okay. All right, y'all. So I always say, no more excuses, wake up. So Tamika, what you want to tell the listeners, girl?
Yo, for real though, no more excuses, wake up.
Y'all heard it. Hey, smart people. I have a 3-month one-on-one personal or business coaching program. As you all know, I paid off $50,000 in debt in 1 year. I will teach you how I stayed out of debt using my burner method and personalized spreadsheet I created to fit my lifestyle and keep me on track. You will learn how to understand your money communication style using my financial treatment plan. Also, if you own a small business and you feel stuck with cash flow or feel disorganized, I teach business owners and self-employed entrepreneurs such as yourself to financially maximize your money, build wealth using your business income, and retire working on the business while your business continues to run, such as myself. You can book a call with me. The link is in the show notes. Thank you for listening to No More Excuses, Wake Up. If you love the show, please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes or Spotify. To learn more about me and my different agencies and what I do, go to StenellMyersEnterprises.com. While you're there, check out Money Therapy Institute and watch my video where you will see me doing a little acting, showing you how I fought and kicked down closed doors. You can also click on Stenell the Money Therapist and get my free budget spreadsheet. And of course, you can email me at contact@StenellTheMoneyTherapist.com. I'm also on social media on Facebook at Stenell the Money Therapist and Instagram at Stenell the Money Therapist. No more excuses. Y'all know what y'all need to do. Wake up.